Predator's Badland is set to release this weekend in theaters, and right now the early reaction to the movie has been generally favorable. You can see on Rotten Tomatoes that I have pulled up, the critic score is currently sitting at 87%. They don't have the audience score up yet, but if you actually click on it, it says there's 50 plus ratings on it. The reaction is, at least the ratings for it are generally favorable. I mean, seeing threes, some four, 4.5, fives. Not really a whole lot of bad reviews per se for this movie. So it does seem like the people who got an early screening of this movie seem to enjoy it, but it's not looking as if this is going to translate into box office success, because we got some projections coming in for the potential for this movie during its opening weekend. And if they hold true, it'd be very unlikely for the movie to turn out to be profitable. But before we really get into this, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you can, leave a comment, tell me what you think about this, and also hit the like button too, because it helps out with the channel. Predator Badlands box office projections aren't looking good. Will this be Disney's fourth flop in a row? This is coming from That Park Place. Scrolling a little bit down. Industry outlet Global Box Office reports that Predator Badlands box office expectations currently sit between $23 million and $32 million domestic for opening weekend, against a production budget reportedly north of $110 or $100 million. The analyst comes with the stark prediction that the film could be Disney's fourth box office bomb in a row. Now, I'm sure most people watching this understand how box offices work, but just for people who might not know this, just because they spent $100 million, or at least that's what they're reporting on it, it says it could be north of that, but let's just assume that it's $100 million. That doesn't necessarily mean that the movie needs to beat $100 million at the box office and then it's profitable, because theaters get their cut of the box office as well as the spend on marketing. You have to factor that in. So when you take all that stuff into consideration, this is a movie that probably needs to make at least $250 million at the global box office in order to just break even. Right now, they're reporting $23 to $32 million domestically during its opening weekend. But if you take into consideration, a lot of movies, if they probably average around 30% of their entire box office revenue is made during that opening weekend. So if you go on the high estimate of this one, $32 million, so that would be 1/3 of $96 million. So right now, if on the high estimate of the box office revenue for its opening weekend, it's looking to make just under $100 million. And like I said, it needs to make over $250 million. If you also take into consideration that, like, oh, maybe this is just domestic, it's going to still get global box office numbers. And sure, it'll make some more money globally too. So you can even, let's say, double what they're making domestically, because that seemed to be a fair estimate right there. So still, I mean, if you double $96 million, what is it, $192 million, that's still not enough to actually break even at the box office. So a lot of this is just speculation at this time, though, but right now that's not looking too good for it. Even if Predator Badlands pushes towards the higher end of its opening box office estimate, analysts suggest it would still face a steep climb to profitability. As Global Box Office put it, a $100 million budget means it needs to at least $250 million worldwide to break even. Now, the numbers are probably more than that, that it needs to break even. I'm just trying to give it the benefit of the doubt here. Now, this isn't me saying that the movie is bad or anything like that. I'm strictly talking about whether or not it's a success as far as profitability goes, because there's a lot of movies out there that I like there's a lot of movies out there that are good movies that didn't actually make money at the box office because at the time that they came out, people just not more, or at least were just not interested in watching them. Well, that's not impossible. It's far from a slam dunk for a company that has struggled mightily this year with epic flops like Snow White, Captain America: Brave New World, The Fantastic Four: First Steps, Elio, and the recently released Tron Ares. Now, a lot of those movies people saw were going to be a flop from a mile away. Other ones were a bit more surprising. Some people even try to say movies like Fantastic Four was somewhat of a success. I mean, it wasn't as bad as Captain America: Brave New World, or as bad as some of the other more recent Marvel movies, but still it failed to make money at the box office. And I did a number of videos talking about Fantastic Four and how that was supposed to be setting up kind of like the next era of the MCU, and it seemed like people just were not interested in that, but that's a whole other subject. Disney has audience trust problems. It isn't just the numerous raising concern. Fans online have been vocal about franchise fatigue, uneven trailers, and the perception that Disney hasn't been listening to moviegoers. One commenter admitted that the excitement vanished after seeing promotional material, saying they went from hype to hesitation. Now, that's obviously just an opinion of someone. Personally, my reaction to the trailers were just kind of meh. I mean, I didn't think they looked necessarily terrible. There was stuff about them I liked. The more recent one, I think, was a little bit better than the first trailer that they released. But it wasn't something that made me feel like, oh, I need to go watch this in theaters, or I'm excited to go see this in theaters. I didn't get any of that for it, but I didn't think like, oh, this is going to be a complete train wreck. I wasn't getting that impression from it. And if you actually go on YouTube and look at the latest trailer that they released, the like to dislike ratio shows that the audience reaction to it is generally favorable. 41,000 likes to 3.4 thousand dislikes. So it seems like people were not really put off by the trailers on their own, but there is something, it feels like it's happening, that's making people not necessarily want to go watch it in theaters now. Like I said at the start of the video, there's a lot of positive publicity surrounding this movie so far, but a lot of that is coming from critics, and a lot of people know that critics, I mean, they've even said it as much, that they kind of are incentivized to, I'm not saying be soft on it, but not necessarily, like, it's basically be a little bit more nicer to it, or at least if like, oh, well, you could either give this, like for Rotten Tomatoes, for instance, they just aggregate whether or not it's a positive or a negative review. So if out of 5 stars, if you're on the fence between a 2 and a 3, you might be more inclined to give it a 3 or something like that, just so it could be positive, but it's not quite positive. And then the audience reactions that we have for it, like I was showing all those positive reviews, a lot of those people who got early screenings were basically people who were invited. So even though they're not professional critics, a lot of people, when they're invited to do those type of screenings, they're usually more inclined to give it a favorable review, if not because they want to have invites in the future, but also because the studio will cherry pick who they actually allow to go see it. So they might be willing to actually give an invitation to someone who has given them favorable coverage up to that point. So you have to take a lot of the early reactions with a pinch of salt, and I think the real response is going to happen once the movie finally hits theaters and we can see what audiences think about it. Now, again, a movie could actually be a good movie or an overall decent movie and still fail to make profit at the box office, and there's a number of factors at play as to why that's the case. One of the problems that Disney has in recent years is they've been so quick to push their movies out to streaming platforms that a lot of people are thinking like, well, why am I going to go watch the movie in theaters if I can just wait a little bit and then watch it on streaming? And I think that's kind of a fair thing right there. But unfortunately, Disney is kind of stuck in that rut of pushing their movies out on streaming like a month or so after it hits the theaters. So unless it's one of those movies that people feel like they're compelled to go watch it in theaters, then they're just going to choose to pass it up, even if the movie turns out to be good, or people enjoy the movie and there's positive word of mouth. It's not enough that it has to have positive word of mouth. It has to be so good that people feel like, oh, I can't miss this. I need to go support it right now. And so far, even the positive early reactions to this movie don't seem like it's going to be one of those that makes people just rush out to go watch it in theaters. So by all accounts, it looks like this might be a movie that is a decent Predator movie, or at least a decent entry in the franchise, at least better than some of the other ones, but still not enough to actually make its money back at the box office. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Why do you think good movies fail at the box office? And also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to hit the like button and share the video out there because it helps out with the channel. Thank you.